What's up, everybody? How y'all doing? Welcome back to the channel. Before we get into our conversation today, I just want y'all to make sure y'all hit the subscribe button right down there. Hit that. So I kept y'all waiting. I want to make sure that the content that I give y'all is quality. Y'all get a lot of the day-to-day, on the go, all the fly, funny shit, you know what I'm saying, on the other channels. So for mine, I just want to make sure I give y'all some quality content. So good morning. I'm sipping my morning coffee. All the girls are asleep. This is normally my time to reflect, talk to God, all that type of stuff. And so I went through the comments, and I think a big thing that a lot of y'all want to know, and especially let me open these blinds. I'm light skinned, but I ain't that light. Hopefully this gives me a little more, yeah, there we go, a little more light. I know the ladies have asked this question a ton of times, and I know y'all probably want to share this with the fellas. So today we're gonna talk about my views on relationships. All right. Now, I'm just gonna put this disclaimer out there. This video is in no way, shape, or form supposed to be used for any significant other bashing. You know what I'm saying? Women, please don't watch this video and go to your men and say, hey, you need to watch this, you need to be more like this, please don't do that. That is not going to be the best way to communicate with your man. So please, I'm just trying to put you up on game. Please do that. When I talk about these videos, I talk about myself, my flaws, the journey and stuff that I've been on. So I understand that everybody is different. Everybody thinks different. The best thing for you to do is find a comfortable space for you and your significant other to communicate how they want to be communicated with. All right. So, got a couple of points, or a few points I should say, nothing major. Again, this is just my view on relationships. So first off, you know, my mama raised me on the mantra, if you always keep it 100, you'll always be okay. And that starts with looking in the mirror. Prior to me dating Carrie, I had been in a bunch of relationships. None of them seemed to work out, obviously. A lot to do with the decisions that I made in the relationship. You know, out here ripping and running these streets, playing that game. And after one relationship, I actually had to look myself in the mirror. And I had to keep it 100 with myself and say, Francis, you know, you keep dealing with these same types of things. So, you know, if I dated, let's just say, fictitiously 100 women and I got the same result, the common denominator of that is me. So I got out of the relationship I was in prior to dating Carrie, and I was like, you know, Francis, be 100 with yourself. You got to make some changes. And so, you know, at that point, you know, I started getting closer to God. I got baptized. And prior to me dating Carrie, I wasn't even involved with anybody like that. I wasn't sleeping around doing nothing like that. And in that, keeping it 100 with myself, I found out that I had to be more honest in my relationships. So for me, it's always been easy to keep it 100, keep it solid with the homies, with the family. A lot of times because, you know, your folks will support your dirt. You know what I'm saying? But I had to transition that into the relationship, my relationships with women, my situationships at the time. That's what was needed. And so when I first started dating Carrie, I kept it all the way 100. I told her, hey, listen, I'm trying to date. I ain't trying to settle like that. I'm trying to date. She knew the women I was dating. And fellas may not like this, but hey, this is what worked for me. You know what I'm saying? If Carrie asked questions about the different women I was dating, she knew she was gonna get the truth. When I started dating Carrie, I let her know what it was. And I came from the stance of, I'm going to be honest with you. So if you ask me something, I'll be honest with you. and then you make the best decision for yourself. And that's how I moved. And, things happened. Me and Carrie even, had a little distance in the time that we were dating. We was able to come back, and now you see the beautiful family. But it started with, me taking the mantra that I was raised on and applying it first to self and looking in the mirror. It's hard to look at yourself sometimes when you've been responsible for a lot of downfall, or you're responsible for mistakes. It's just hard. It's hard for anybody. And I would tell everybody, if you're at a critical point or you're at a downtime in your life, that's the time to look yourself in the mirror, keep it 100 with yourself, and say, I gotta make changes if I want to be better. All right. So that's what got me into my relationship. What's kind of kept my relationship good and going, for one, is, and for lack of better terms and being corny, I'll call it the 3 C's: communication, change, and commitment. When Carrie and I started dating, and even now, and like I said before, rewind the tape, we created a space for us to figure out how we communicate. So Carrie used to get upset about stuff and not want to talk about it. I'm the type of person where you're not finna just be in my environment with that energy, so we're gonna talk about it so we can move forward. So I used to kind of pressure Carrie into, no, let's talk about it. And then we've kind of adjusted to it. So I know sometimes I'll leave it alone, sometimes she'll be forthcoming, but we know that me and her need to talk. And we've had tough conversations. We watch Love and Hip Hop and all that, with all the cheating and having babies on the side and all that. And so because of the stuff we've seen in our environment, we've actually communicated about some of those tough situations that, Lord forbid, that we even get in. But because that's an environment, that's the stuff we see, you got to talk about it, and you can't be afraid to talk about it. She also learned from me is, we don't do shouting matches. We're not finna sit here and yell back and forth. She knows that she starts raising that voice, I'll say, hey, listen, this conversation's over. We'll come back to it and talk later, because I don't respond to that. You're not finna sit here and yell at me, because that don't work for me. My football coaches used to tell me the same thing. You get so defensive. Yeah, because I'm a man, And so just talk to me like this. It takes a lot for me to get upset and raise my voice. So I don't want you to do that towards me. So we found out how to communicate. I was already brutally honest with her. You know what I'm saying? We communicate about tough topics. And I know, fellas, we try to stay away from shit because we feel like, well, we don't want to put that in our girl ear to get her suspicious. Listen, if she watching TV, she gonna be suspicious. If she talking to her homegirl, she gonna be suspicious of some shit, because there's always shit being placed in the brain. And if you look at the society we live in, drama sells. So that's all she's gonna constantly see, whether it be on TV, in the movies, in the music. It's all about drama. It's all about getting caught up. So it's constantly being put in her brain. You feel me? And so for me, it's already getting put in there. Let me make her more comfortable, you know what I'm saying, by addressing it off the bat. And my mom also told me, don't do nothing that you would be ashamed of. You feel me? So if there's something that I can't be 100% honest about, I don't need to do it. So so create that space for you guys to learn how to communicate with each other. I understand everybody's different. Your significant other is different. You guys have both had individual experiences that cause y'all to see the world a certain way. So create that space where you can communicate and seek understanding of each other's ways to communicate. And when it comes to understanding and communication, you need to take the time to understand your significant other the way you want to be understood. All right, so I tell Kara all the time, let me know how you feeling. Help me understand. You know what I'm saying? And understand this. You guys can, and me and Carrie deal with this all the time. We have tons of disagreements. I know y'all see all the happy-go-lucky, all the fun shit, and that's part of it too. We had a disagreement yesterday. And so what it is you just seek that understanding. It is not about agreeing or disagreeing, though. When you communicate to seek the understanding and gain the understanding and the wisdom, you change how you react to certain things. So we can have a disagreement. Carrie and I are two completely different people, but because I understand her and we communicate, I don't flip off the handles, and that's why we don't have shouting matches and things like that. So communication, that's vital. So always keep 100, communication. And the second one I know nobody likes is change. Carrie and I, because we love each other, we made a lot of changes to self. Now, I know everyone's out there, no, you don't need to change who you are. I know, just do it and all that, just be you, da da da. And that's cool. And I 100% agree. You can make changes to yourself to better yourself without changing who you are at the core. If you have a set of core values, those don't need to necessarily change, but maybe it's how you react to certain things. Like Carrie didn't like to talk about a lot of problems. I did, or I used to rip and run, so I had to change my view on the game in that sense. You can't be afraid to change it to adapt. Always keep the big picture in mind. The big picture is your relationship, your family, and trying to keep that together. Now, if you're at a point where you feel like you're making all the changes and you're communicating, you're the only one communicating, the only one changing, well, then you may have to, seek something else, seek some outside help. I'm not going to tell nobody, leave nobody, but you may need to readjust how you're viewing things and make better decisions for yourself. But you can't be afraid to change. Success is painful. T.D. Jakes said one day, in order to get to that next level, you're going to have to go through some pain. So in order for me and Carrie to go to the next level, we had to change how we reacted to certain things so we could better communicate. And like I said, most people don't want to have those tough conversations. But when you change your mindset on that, then you can have them and get past a lot of bullshit that's thrown. So Carrie's homegirls can tell her everything under the sun. But unless she's talked to me, it don't matter. Well, not that I don't want to be all macho, not that it don't matter, but she knows me enough and she knows our relationship enough and is comfortable in our relationship enough to be like, I hear what y'all saying, but let me go holler at my man and let's have our conversation and communicate how we need to. But you got to make changes to yourself. You guys are supposed to be a puzzle, but it's not a perfect fit. In order to get as close to perfect, you got to make some changes. Again, a lot of those changes start with self. And those are the hardest changes to make, but those are the most beneficial. And the third thing is just the commitment. Be committed every single day to becoming a better person. If you can sit there and look yourself in the mirror and make the changes to self, your relationships will be better. And not just marital relationships, your friendships, your relationships with coworkers, all that will get better once you're committed to becoming a better person. When you're committed to becoming a better person, I believe that you will come from more of a place of love. And that's what makes all this go. God is love, that 1 Corinthians joint, you know what I'm saying? And so be committed to being a better person. Be committed to love. If you come from a place of love, that's not saying at all you will even stay in your relationship, but you will be in a completely better space. So always keep 100. Communication is key. Don't be afraid to change and be committed to love and being a better person. That's what I do. That's why I think I'm in a pretty good space with my relationship and my lady. And that's just how I view relationships, and not just my relationship with Carrie. That's the same way I view my relationship with my brothers and sisters, my homies, my bros, the co-workers. What you get here, and I tell my mom this all the time, I want y'all to love me for me, so I have to act the same no matter where I'm at. So it don't matter who you ask. When it comes to character, they be like, oh, well, Francis is this, Francis is this, Francis is this, Francis is this, and that's just how that works. So again, please, ladies, don't throw this at your husband, boyfriend, whatever. And fellas, don't throw it at your lady. Use this video as a means to create a better space to communicate. When y'all can do that and communicate from a place of love, y'all be A-okay. So yeah, man, that's my take. I hope y'all mess with it. Again, make sure y'all hit that subscribe button. I'm gonna keep the content coming. I know y'all miss me, man. Shit, I miss me too. But nah. So yeah, leave more comments, leave more topics, and shit, I'll address them as I go. One love.